Breaking tonight, 3 of the Americans freed in a prisoner swap with Iran are now in Germany. Hello and welcome to a special 2-hour Justice. I'm Judge Jeanine. Thanks for being with us. There's a lot ahead in the next 2 hours, including my opening statement and my thoughts on Republican Governor Nikki Haley's response to the State of the Union. But first, the nuclear deal between Iran and 6 world powers now in force as the American hostages freed by Iran have begun their journey home. But is this nuke deal a new start to relations with Iran, or have we just emboldened the largest state sponsor of terrorism? With me now is former National Security Advisor to Vice President Dick Cheney and Senior Counselor at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, John Hanna. Good evening, John.
Hi, good evening, Judge.
All right. The Iranians exchanged for Americans were convicted in open court, not only of crimes, but of crimes relating to Iran's development of nuclear weapons. Was this an even exchange?
No, this was a bad deal for the U.S., Judge, I'm afraid. I mean, of course, we've all got to be incredibly happy and overjoyed for these American citizens and their families that they're finally being returned. But these were people, let's not forget, that were illegally detained under international law. And they're being returned, but in exchange for, as you've said, 7 people charged or convicted in a duly constituted American court for assisting Iran's nuclear weapons program, in addition to 14 Iranian fugitives wanted by Interpol for a variety of offenses against the United States, including the Iranian officials in charge of an airline that has been supplying both personnel and weapons to the Assad regime and to Iranian troops in Syria that have been slaughtering Syrian civilians by the tens of thousands. This is a bad deal.
Well, you know, it always seems that we're always on the short end of the deal, you know, with Bergdahl, 1, you know, for 5. And this, we've got 4 or 5, you know, for 7 plus 14, where there are these international warrants, as you say. But you know what else? Not only is it the exchange, they've got $150 billion, and then they got $500,000 from a third country going to Iran for each of the American prisoners.
Yeah, and we've also, of course, found out today that there's another $1.7 billion coming to the Iranians from a dispute that's now been settled that in front of the International Claims Tribunal, a 30-year-old financial dispute between the United States and Iran. So they've gotten that on top of everything else. They're now going to be able to sell unlimited quantities of Iranian oil on global markets again. And European and Asian companies are going to be investing tens of billions of dollars into the Iranian economy over the coming months and years.
John, what is the impact of the, you know, the release of the Iranian oil, where they're now going to be able to sell it on the global market again? What impact does that have?
Well, the only saving grace, of course, is that the price of oil on global markets is at a very low number right now. But everything the Iranian gets from being able to put additional barrels of oil on the global market is going to go to the Iranian Revolutionary Guard that controls all the strategic sectors of that economy. And this is money, just as with the $100 or $150 billion cash windfall they're going to get. A huge percentage of that is going to go in to the Iranian Revolutionary Guards, wreaking havoc across the Middle East, undermining and interfering in the affairs of our allies, attacking Israel, and, of course, spreading chaos in places like Syria and Yemen.
Well, let's just talk about Americans now. With this deal, is there a message that's been sent that if you take Americans hostage, we're going to pay you for them, putting Americans at risk everywhere across the world?
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is the Iranian MO. This is in the DNA of the Islamic Revolution since 1979. They take hostages. They think they can get something from it. They've now done it. They've gotten a lot from this. Not only have they gotten a lot of their people out of jail, they've gotten this huge nuclear deal. And I think they found out that there is a profit to be made by taking American citizens hostage.
Well, then
No question.
how do you respond to the president saying this is a victory for diplomacy?
Well, of course, it's outrageous. I mean, the president said that as well when our 10 American sailors were seized earlier in the week. The fact that they were released within 24 hours was a great victory for diplomacy. There wasn't any outrage at the Iranians violating all of international maritime law, humiliating our country, humiliating our soldiers, forcing a confession in contravention of at least the spirit of the Geneva Conventions. No outrage from the president at all. Instead, another blatant Iranian challenge and transgression to the United States, one in a long series the United States has not responded to, which only means, as in the case of this hostage exchange, that there's going to be more trouble down the road, I'm afraid.
All right, John Hanna, thanks so much.